All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Nathan Stalvey, the director of the Clark County Historical Association. And this is the first in a series of online interviews that we're doing during the COVID-19 pandemic to learn from local businesses, those who own and operate local businesses within Clark County. We want to know a little bit about the history of their business, a little bit about themselves, how they got to be there, and how they're handling it during this COVID-19 crisis. So this is something we haven't seen in over 100 years, a pandemic like this, and how it affects daily life around the world. And these series of interviews will be looking at how the pandemic has affected us here in Clark County. So I'm joined today by Turner Kobayashi, the general manager over at Audley Farm. And Turner, welcome.
Hi.
And so first, I wanted to ask you, tell me a little bit about Audley Farm. For those who don't know, about Audley Farm and its history, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. Audley Farm is rich with history. It was founded in 1749 by Lord Fairfax, and he deeded it over to George Washington's cousin, Warner Washington. And what happened was Warner then deeded it to his son, and in 1795, he built this Audley house. I'm sitting in the library, the beautiful historic Audley house. And Warner held it for quite a while, and it turned over to George's nephew, Lawrence Lewis. And actually the most famous resident that lived here on the farm in this house actually was Nellie Custis Lewis, actually. And that was George's adopted daughter. So it's Martha's granddaughter, but when Nellie became of age, George introduced him to his favorite nephew, Lawrence Lewis, and she was raised with her brother at George Park Custis at Mount Vernon. And then when they got married, Martha and George gave them 2,000 acres for a wedding gift. What a nice gift.
That is very nice.
Woodlawn plantation right around the corner there from Mount Vernon. And then when Lawrence passed, Nellie Custis Lewis came out here and lived. So she's the most famous resident here. So it stayed in the Washington property for quite a long time until the early 1900s. It went to a gentleman named Mr. Cummings, who was a Angus breeder actually, and a gentleman in the railroad business. He held that until the early 1920s. And then two brothers, the Jones brothers, Montford and B.B. Jones, bought it. And they bought about 600 acres right now. The original tract was about 3,000 acres. But they bought 600 acres for about $128,000. The next year, 1921, they purchased the very first Triple Crown winner, Sir Barton, for $100,000. So they bought a horse for almost the same amount as the farm, and he became a stallion here at Audley Farm. And he was the very first Triple Crown winner of the 13 Triple Crown winners. We just celebrated his 100th anniversary last year of winning the Triple Crown last year, and there's a beautiful statue here in front of the stallion barn where he stood as a stallion here at Audley. It stayed in the Jones brothers family for quite a while, and then the gentleman named Mr. Edwards bought it. He was a horse track owner, and he continued the horse thoroughbred tradition here. Then in 1978, the current owners purchased it. It's a German family, and they wanted to continue the horse operation, and more recently we've diversified into the Angus cattle business as well. So it's been an interesting run. It is currently 3,000 acres. It comprises of 4 different farms here in Clark County, all contiguous. So it's Audley Farm, Monterey Farm, Morgan Springs Farm, and the East Farm, which comprises up the entire farm. It's quite a big property, 4.5 square miles. He has 5 manor houses.
Wow. So how does the size of it now with all the farms compare to the size of it when it was gifted to, Nellie?
It's comparable now. It was originally about 3,000. It went down to as small as 600 acres. Then it got up to about 1,000, and now it's back to 3,000 acres.
Wow. That's crazy, because normally when you see a lot of these historic properties, in the 18th century, they could be thousands of acres, and today there may be a couple hundred.
Right.
It's interesting that Audley's kind of gone back the other direction. So
yeah, it is
interesting. And yet,
the town of Berryville, I think, is 1,450 acres. So,
Oh my God. So that's great to put it in perspective like that.
yeah,
So Audley's twice the size of Berryville. Wow. Yeah. I remember we did a couple of years ago, we did a talk at Audley Farm on Nellie Custis, and it was interesting to read and learn about her. Wow. What a fireball. She wrote a
yeah.
lot in her diary. She was not afraid to share her opinions, was she?
No, she was outspoken and quite the aristocrat back in the day.
So tell us a little bit about what you've got there behind you. You've got some,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're we originally known primarily as a thoroughbred breeder, and we've had some quite a bit of success. So right now behind me is Bodemeister here, and he was a yearling born in 2009, or he was a colt born in 2009, and as a yearling we sold him at the Keeneland sale for $260,000 to a gentleman named Mr. Zayat. You can see the silks there. So Bodemeister went on and he won the Arkansas Derby, and we were very excited, and we were told he was going to run in the 2012 Kentucky Derby. So as a breeder, we were very excited. We got invited by the owner, and I got the opportunity to walk on the track for the Kentucky Derby with Bodemeister.
Wow.
It's a highlight, a thrill of my life. And what was even more thrilling was out of the gate, Bodemeister, for a 10 furlong race, was leading the entire way till about the last 50 yards. And have another came up and beat him by a neck. So we were pretty much that close to winning a Kentucky Derby. But we were very excited. He went on to the Preakness, and same thing happened. He had the lead, and I'll have another caught him with about 70 yards to go. So close, but it didn't happen for us. But it was a great success for us. He won $1.3 million on the track for Mr. Zayat. Mr. Zayat retired him and Bodemeister became a stallion in Kentucky. And very successful stallion. There's a picture of one of his sons up here. It's Always Dreaming, who won the 2017 Kentucky Derby. So Bodemeister didn't win, but his son won. So we're pretty proud of that.
Wow.
Been a very fun story. Also, we're very happy that Mr. Zayat won. He went on and bought some more horses, and he went on to buy a horse named American Pharaoh, who ended up being the Triple Crown and Grand Slam winner. He won the Breeders' Cup that year, 2015.
Wow.
So we're very fortunate. So I've got a picture of Bodemeister here. I've got a picture of Bodemeister's mom, Touchdown. He was also the Broodmare of the Year in 2012. There's a picture of Sir Barton behind there as well. So we're sitting here in the library, just some fun things that we have.
That is impressive history. Do you get a lot of horse racing enthusiasts who come out there to see these hallowed grounds?
Yeah, we do. We just this year had the very first Justified foal, a filly, out of one of our mare Foreign Affair, and it was the very first Triple Crown baby by Justify. So we're excited. We're actually going to do an open house here as a fundraiser for the Clark County FFA program, but due to the COVID-19 situation, we weren't able to do it. But we're hoping to do that in the fall, where the local community can come out and see this beautiful filly and get to tour our grounds and get to see what we have here.
Oh, that would be great. Count me in as one of the people who want to be there for that. I used to live in Louisville, Kentucky. It's interesting. I didn't really know much about horse racing until I lived there, and I get it. I understand the passion for that and the interest after that. It was really fascinating. So that's great. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you get to be general manager at Audley Farm, and how long have you been there?
Okay. Well, my wife, Mary Kay, is the office manager, business manager here, and she's been here for 27 years. So she's known the family who's owned the farm for quite a long time. I've gotten to know them through her. And my passion, one of my passions is betting on horses. I like to bet on. And the general manager at the time was a German vet named Dr. Jens von Liepel. He knew quite a bit about animal husbandry and breeding. He wasn't really familiar with American racing, so I taught him about American racing, and he taught me about pedigree and conformation. And I was very fortunate to go with him and the family to the sales where we sold and when we bought. And I got to learn the industry for probably the last 25 years here. And Dr. von Liepel retired and went back to Germany, and the family needed to diversify, and they were looking for a person that could help do that. And so 5 years ago, they called me and said, "Hey, you want to change careers?" And I said, "It's interesting." And I'm very comfortable on the horse side, but I had to learn the cattle side. And it's been a good challenge, and I feel really comfortable with it, and I'm really excited on where we're headed now. So I've been here for 5 years now, but I've known the family for quite a long time.
Wow, that's excellent. That is excellent. So, what does Audley Farm do nowadays? Like, if with the community, like not just interacting with the community, but on a day-to-day basis, what are some of Audley Farm's day-to-day operations like?
Well, our two primary businesses, one is the Thoroughbred operation. We have 14 brood mares, so we raise and foal out our babies here. We sell them as yearlings. Sometimes we keep them and we race them. So we have 4 horses in training right now, and then we sell our yearlings primarily at either Saratoga, Keeneland, or the Fasig-Tipton sales in Kentucky. Sometimes we sell locally in Timonium in Maryland. So that's the horse operation. It's still a strong part of our operation. But our focus has kind of shifted over to our cattle program. We have become a high-end seed stock producer, meaning that we sell bulls and preferred females to pretty much the market in the Midwest, west of the Mississippi, where the cattle world is.
Right.
We have a cooperative program with 2 different bull programs, one in Texas, one in Idaho, and we have some wonderfully pedigreed animals now. So our herd's quite large. We have 400 mama cows, so we have about 400 babies a year. We typically, our herd size is anywhere from 900 to 1,000 head at any given time. But because we have so much land to graze on, we have that. We make all our own hay, and a natural extension of our cattle program is having a beef program. So we've chosen to go with a local beef program, and we're very proud of that. We want people to know their source so they can come out and see that our animals are raised, how they're raised, free range, open pastures. We add no hormones, antibiotics, or steroids to any of our animals in our beef program. And, we know what we feed them. We can tell you how much they weigh when they're born, when we wean them, how much when we go to our processor. So we have a really good understanding of how many days on feed they are. So we want you to know what you're eating, and we want to be a local source to the community. And we're really excited to work with Clark County High School and their ag program. So the kids come out on field trips and they go see the horses, they see the cattle, and they get some hands-on work with them. So we're really happy to work with that program and the FFA program. So we're strong supporters of the local community in that sense.
Excellent. So if people wanted to obtain some beef from Audley Farm, where can they go to get that?
Typically, at this time, our primary sales is at the Clark County Farmers Market in downtown Berryville on Saturdays from 8 to 12. But right now, with the COVID crisis, we're open here on our farm stand. We are open every Wednesday from 4 to 7. We have a farm store here right next to our office, and also on Saturdays from 9 to noon. So we've been seeing quite a bit. There's been our sales have gone extremely. The demand is incredible because of what's going on, and we clearly understand it. We're practicing safe social distancing, and our sales are through the roof. So we're trying to get our beef program, our pipeline filled for our steers to go to processing, and it's been a challenge, but it's also been very good. We've had to limit some of the purchases because we want to try to provide for as many people as we can.
Right. Do you get your beef in any of the local restaurants or stores or anything like that?
Yeah, one of our key partners is Butcher Station in Creekside in Winchester. Sandy Gallagher and her team are partners with us, and they actually take a steer and they dry age it 4 to 6 weeks in their own freezer at their restaurant, and then they hand carve steaks there. She is also our executive chef here, so whenever we have any catering events, Sandy is our chef and handles all of our activities.
Excellent. So switching gears a little bit, so the COVID-19 crisis has impacted all of us, hence why we're doing this oral history interview on Zoom and not in person.
Right.
For CCHA, we've had to unfortunately cancel or postpone a lot of our events, including our spring art show, which was, 30 years going. This was our 30th year of Art at the Mill, and this is the first time we've had to cancel our spring show in since the show went to two shows back in 1996. So, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected Audley Farm and your daily operations?
So on the horse side, it's affected us more than the other side. The horse side, they suspended a lot of racing, so some of the horses in training aren't finding opportunities to race. These sales are getting either postponed or canceled and getting pushed back to later in the year. Typically, our yearling sales are in August and September anyways, so there's still a lot of unknown. So there's a big question mark on what's going to happen with our traditional thoroughbred business. So there's a lot of uncertainty on that side. There's a lot of uncertainty on the cattle side, but on the cattle side, we were fortunate to have our major bull sales in February and March before the crisis really occurred. And one difference is the horse is the entertainment, luxury type of business, discretional income type. So that's a little bit different when you approach a food production type of industry like cattle, which is very different. So we're very fortunate. Our beef program, like I said, has skyrocketed. We're very fortunate to be able to continue to work every day and provide an alternative for people to get food.
Wow, very smart. It's amazing hearing how it's affected everybody in so many different ways. But well, is there anything else you'd like to add about Audley Farm, about yourself?
We do have cooking classes. We do have some events here. Typically, they're like birthday parties or retirement parties or rehearsal type dinners here at the Audley House. And we've had to suspend that obviously because of what's going on. The cooking class is a big hit. A lot of people come here, and Chef Sandy teaches them how to cook, and it's a fun type of event. But we're very fortunate to be able to work and to provide services to our community. We just wish the very best for everyone in our community and to be safe and healthy, and hope you and your loved ones are remaining safe. And we've got to get back and figure out how to get through this, but we're confident that we will, and everyone will. So we're very happy. We appreciate you and giving us the opportunity here. And we're a historical farm, so we like to be part of CCHA. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, well, I appreciate your time, Turner. And it's amazing, hearing about Audley, the history, and, Audley isn't just, Clark County. It's Audley has a national reach, from the beef to the horse, everything like that. And I really appreciate your time and thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
see you soon.
Yeah. See you soon.
Okay.